All right, we're going to be taking a look at squares, square roots, Pythagorean theorem. So we're looking at this page. If you don't have it downloaded, please download it. And you're going to be filling it in as we go. Squaring and square roots, page 80. When a number or variable is multiplied by itself, it is said to be squared. So multiplied by itself, what does that mean? That means 8 times 8, or 6 times 6, or 5 times 5. Squaring a number is like finding the area of a square. Well, what does that mean? So let's draw a square. Okay. Squaring a number is like finding the area of a square. So if this square has the sides of 5 and 5, the area of the square would be 5 times 5, which is 25. So it's like finding the area of a square. Okay, an example, 8 times 8 is 8 squared, which equals 64. Or 6 times 6 would be 6 squared, which is 36. The square root of a number or a variable is the positive factor that when multiplied by itself results in the given number. The square root of a number or a variable is the positive factor that when multiplied by itself results in the given number. So if I took the square root of 25, that would equal 5, because 5 times itself gives me 25. Use the radical sign to show this operation. If you know the area of a square, then the square root of the numerical value of the area is the square root of that value. For example, the square root of 49 means find the positive number that when multiplied by itself will give you 49. So the square root of 49 is 7. So if I had a square and its area was 49, how would I get that? 7 times 7. So let's practice. So on this page, you're going to be doing some squares and some square roots. So this row here, the last row, is your square root row, is your squaring row. So 4 squared is 16, okay? And you should be able to figure out the rest by putting them in your calculator, okay? So square root of 36. What times itself gives you 36? 6. What times itself gives you 144? 12. Number 6, the square root of 50. I don't know any whole numbers that when multiplied by themselves gives me 50. Because 7 times 7 gives me 49. But 8 times 8 gives me 64. So that means this one's going to be a decimal. So when you put in the square root of 50, you're going to get 7.07. The same thing with 38. I know that 6 times 6 is 36. And then 7 times 7 would be 49. So 38 has to be between 6 and 7. It's a decimal. It's 6.16. I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth. Okay? Right triangles and Pythagorean theorem. A right triangle is a triangle in which the two shorter sides form a 90-degree angle. The shorter sides are called legs. So if we're looking at a right triangle down at the bottom here, the two shorter sides are called legs. The third and longest side is called the hypotenuse. Okay, and is always opposite, so it's across from the 90-degree angle. The Pythagorean theorem states that for any right triangle, the square of the sum, so what does this mean? The square of the sum, so this is the sum, these are the squares, of the legs equals the hypotenuse. So that means if I say that leg 2 is 3, actually let's switch that. let's say that leg 2 is 4 and leg 1 is 3, because 1 looks a little shorter, and I want to find the hypotenuse, I would take leg 1 plus leg 2, and I'm squaring them, and that's going to equal the hypotenuse squared. So 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16, and that equals the hypotenuse squared. 9 plus 16 is 25, and that's equal to the hypotenuse squared. Now I want to solve this equation. So what is the opposite of a square? We just did it above. The opposite or inverse operation is the square root. Okay? So the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of the hypotenuse squared is the hypotenuse. So in this case, this means that the hypotenuse would be 5. Okay? So down here, I did another example. Okay? We have 16 as one leg and 12 as the other. 16 squared plus 12 squared equals x. They named it a variable, so I didn't use h, I used x in place of that. Okay, 16 squared is 256, 12 squared is 144, 256 plus 144 is 400. 400 equals x squared. So I need to take the square root of 400, which is 20. So x equals 20. Okay? You're going to be practicing this in an IXL.